played here 42 times. And I find that hard to believe, but Paul Carrack in good company. 4th of May, 2001. Okay, so I'd been kind of trying to make my way as an independent artist. I'd started my own little label with the help of my good friend Peter Van Hook. And we decided, you know, we're trying to establish myself, and we decided it would be great to do the Albert Hall. Again, independently promoting that. We even sold the tickets ourselves, you know. And I had a lot of help and support from friends, other artists. So I'm trying to think who we had. We had Glenn and Chris from Squeeze came down. There's not a lot of information here about who's on the show, but I can tell you that Mike came down. We did a couple of songs together. B.A. Robertson, who wrote things like The Living Years, came down. I do remember that Rod Argent from the Zombies, Rod came down, and we did a couple of songs together. We did a version of She's Not There. A very famous musician, famous for his being involved with the Zombies in the 60s. Wrote some fantastic hits. And Rod came down, and we said we'd do a version of She's Not There, just him at the piano and me. And he said, well, what do you want me to do? I can do a little intro. I said, be fantastic. He said, well, how long do you want it to be? No, just go ahead and play. And Rod started, and about 5 minutes in, I thought, well, I better start singing soon. And I got up and started walking to the mic, thinking he'd finished. And no, he kept going, so I gave him back, sat back down again. Anyway, I think it must have been a 10 or 15 minute version, but it was great. And also, I'll tell you what, we had a surprise, because I'd got to know Barry McGuigan, the boxer. And I got to know Barry quite well. He's a lovely, lovely guy. You can't believe he made a living from knocking people out. But Barry came down and sang a couple of songs with us, because he loves to sing. His dad was a singer. And I'm going to get into trouble for people I've forgotten, but there's no reminders here who they might be. Anyway, it was a big deal for me to be headlining the Royal Albert Hall, and fortunately we managed to fill the room, and that was such a fantastic night. That was a milestone to my first time of headlining here. And now, you told me earlier that I'd played here 42 times, and I find that hard to believe, but I thought you might have said 20 or 30 at the most. But of course, I've had the pleasure of playing with, you know, as a supporting artist, like playing organ in the Eric Clapton band. I played here a number of times, and of course he owns the record, so a long way behind Eric. Fantastic. Eric Clapton, Royal Albert Hall, 2015. So this would include the I think the third night in, I think it was, that it was his 70th. So the concert was filmed. Clapton at 70, I think it's called. What a fantastic experience this whole thing has been for me to get, you know, be involved for a little while with Eric. Came out of the blue. I'd played on a couple of his albums, just the odd session or two, and then one day I got a call from him, because I think the keyboard player that had been involved with the band had been ill, and he called me and asked me if I'd like to go on the road with him for a tour of it's a world tour basically, starting in America and going to places like Japan and the Far East, And so yeah, I jumped at the opportunity because I'm a major fan. I think it's been an incredible experience because I've done the majority of his touring up till this year. For the last 10 years, I've been done the majority of his touring, and it's been such a mind-blowing experience, really, because he's a legend. He's not just a legend that because he's famous. He's a proper artist. He's an authentic artist. He has great artistic integrity. He surrounds himself with fantastic musicians that I thought were in another league to me, to be honest with you. But to be accepted and to get the respect of these kind of people has been great for me as well. Apart from the fact of traveling to places I'd never been before. I'd never even been to Japan. And Eric is so popular down there. So that was a great experience. What can I tell you? I mean, I believe Eric holds the record for appearances here. And as I said, the one that was to celebrate his 70th was, I believe, his 200th appearance here. So he would do multiple nights here. And it's funny because, I mean, obviously he plays stadiums all around the world, arenas, but he does love the Albert because of the atmosphere. It's got a special atmosphere. And yeah, so what a lucky guy I am to have had the pleasure of being alongside him. He's an interesting guy. I mean, he's had a unbelievable life. And so in many respects, he's completely different to us all because he's had this incredible life, but he also comes from a very down-to-earth background and has that aspect about him as well. So, and he's a very kind bloke. And yeah, as I say, it's just been an incredible experience for me. But to play with some of these other guys like Steve Gadd, Steve Jordan, you know, Sonny Emery, the best drummers around, and Nathan East, of course. Nathan, lovely guy. Andy Fairweather Low, who's going to show up tonight and play a couple of songs with me. So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is the concert we did last year, 2023, and I can't believe we pulled it off actually, because it had the potential to be a logistical disaster. Because what we did, I do work on occasion with a band in Germany, a big band, or you might call them an orchestra, but basically they're a jazz band. And so I've had this association with them for 10 or 15 years. And they were very, very keen to come over and play at the Royal Albert Hall. I mean, these are guys who've got Grammys coming out of their ears. In their own right, in their own field, they're extremely well renowned. But they were desperate to come over and play here at the Albert. So the idea was that they would come over and do the opening set, and I would sing with them using material I'd done from a couple of albums I'd done with them. And then the second set would be my regular band. So, but you can imagine the logistics of putting that together, and, you know, with all the microphones involved, and as I say, just all the logistics. It was a recipe for disaster. I'd come home actually from touring with Eric Clapton, and literally jumped onto this show like 3 days later. So I'm jet lagged and all the rest of it. But the guys we had helping us with the production were just amazing, how they made it all happen. But I think it was a special night. It was definitely, for me, a special night because we had such a wide range of stuff that I've been involved with. I mean, the big band thing, and then following with my own band. It was a lot of singing, but I think it was a special night. Oh, we also had a 150-piece choir up in the gods that they came on for things like the Living Years. And that was a very special moment. I mean, people didn't realise they were even there until the lights came up and they sing in the chorus of the Living Years. So that definitely is one for my memory banks. It's a wonderful, wonderful occasion. But we move on, onwards and upwards, and tonight is going to be even better.